Hello, NFA Money Mamas. Welcome back to another episode of the Woman Entrepreneur Podcast. You're in the right place if you are an NFA, no fucking around, woman entrepreneur who is ready to scale your business to 6 figures plus and enjoy the process because you're doing what you love, making more and more money every year in this NFA philosophy of working less, making more, and having fun. So today what we're going to talk about is how to do a growth check on your business. And typically on this biz breakdown session, I will have another person on and we'll run through their business and help them decide what they need to do to scale to the next level. And usually it's just some minor tweaks and stuck points. And so if you're interested in having a biz breakdown session with me, make sure you go to thewomanontrepreneurpodcast.com, thewomanontrepreneurpodcast.com. And at the top of the page, there's a button that says get your biz breakdown session. Go ahead and click on that and you can apply to do a free biz breakdown session with me where we'll brainstorm ways to help you scale more quickly. And today are going to be tips just like what I would give you on one of those sessions. And I want to do thoughts for you around what does it even mean to grow my business to a level that I desire, and what is that level you desire? So first, just stop and think for a second. If I had a magic wand and in 5 years from now, I could have my business look and feel and be anything I want it to be, what would that look like? Okay, so 5 years from now, where would you be in your business? What amount of money would you be making? How many hours a week would you be working? Who would you be working with? How would you feel when you wake up? What would you be doing? What kind of products, services, or programs would you be selling? And this is a really important question because you want to start reverse engineering your business from that perspective. You want to think, hey, the only reason that I chose to be an entrepreneur is because I want to get paid to do what I love to do. And I'm designing a lifestyle of freedom from my business. And that can look very different for different people because for me, I don't ever want to retire. I talked to someone this morning who said, that they were on I think an 8-year trajectory to retire and sell their business. I don't want to sell my business because I love what I'm doing and I see myself doing it forever. Over time, I work less and less hours to get bigger and bigger results, yet I'll never quit. From what I can tell today. And it's definitely not my 5-year vision. In 5 years, I see myself speaking on stages, having several books published, bestsellers, having my NFA Money Mama Mastermind be huge with lots of awesome women where we go on retreats around the world. I mean, I see all kinds of cool stuff. So I just see it growing in impact. And it's taken me a little while to slow down and go, hey, and in this growth check way, go, what do I choose to create out of my business? So I want you to really envision some of this today and this week and start journaling about it. What would my ideal business look like? And who would I be working with? And how many hours a week would I be working? And start envisioning that so you can reverse engineer your business from that place. And that's my first tip for today. Okay. So let's look at this. I want you to think about this. So this is what we're doing today, a growth check. And I want you to ask yourself this question. If you're listening on the podcast, you definitely, if you can, if you're not multitasking right now, like running or driving or something like that, get out a pen and paper and write this question down. Is what I'm doing working to scale my business at the rate I desire? And that's the ultimate overarching question when you are doing a growth check. You want to think, okay, is what I'm doing working? Is my business scaling at the rate I desire? And if it's not, obviously some adjustments need to be made. The most important thing, though, is that you first ask yourself this question. A lot of people don't even take the time to ask themselves this question. And so they just stay stuck on the treadmill. I call it the treadmill of BS. And they just are running. And they've never stopped to think, what kind of business do I really choose to create? Because they get so stuck in the weeds of going and pushing and fearing that they're not going to be as successful as they want to be or make as much money as they want to make. And so they never stop to go, am I even creating something I am choosing to create? Is this going to give me the outcome in the end that feels good? And you've heard me say before that you can't get what you want doing what you don't want to do. So if you're on the treadmill of BS and you're pushing really hard and you're working really hard, you're stuck in the money block that you believe money is hard to make and that you can't truly just make easy money doing what you love. And so you have this stuckness, and a growth check is a way to get through that money block because you can start assessing, how do I really feel about my business? And is what I'm doing working to scale to my desired level? So you want to know, what is that desired level? And you got to start thinking, is what I'm doing working? And when you ask that question, it helps you tap into that core desire of like, am I enjoying what I'm doing? Am I having fun building my business, or does it feel drudgerous and shitty? And we don't want it to feel that way. So we want to do these growth checks on a regular basis. So that's the first question I want you to ask yourself, is what I'm doing working to scale my business at the rate I desire? And just be as honest with yourself as you can be. So in this way, just journal about it this week and go, okay, is what I'm doing working? So, and a really effective tool here that we're going to talk about is tracking. So here's question number one. This is growth question number one. Do I have a tracking system? And if not, you must create one. Okay. So when I say, do I have a tracking system? This ties to asking yourself if what I'm doing is working. If you don't know if what you're doing is working, it's because you don't have a tracking system. A lot of people, when they're in the first stages of business, remember in episode number 3, I talked about your zone of manifestation business scaling roadmap. So let's say you're in zone number 1, the manic imposter zone, and you're just going. You're working really hard and you're not up-leveling your income. It's unlikely that at this stage you have a tracking system, because really you're just putting everything out there. You're taking massive action and you don't really know what you're doing to build a business, and you haven't gotten refined about it yet. So you want to move into you want to start tracking, because once you get to the over deliver and undercharge zone, the only way to move to zone number 3 and 4, where you're in the value yourself more or the zone of manifestation zones, is to start tracking. You've got to start understanding, is what I'm doing working? And so a tracking system can be very simple. You don't need to overcomplicate this. And I see a lot of people do this. They get very bogged down in systems and they make it really complex. And so their tracking takes so much time that that's all they're doing. And it's almost a version of procrastination out of fear and perfectionism. So they go, if I have the perfect tracking system and the perfect spreadsheets, then my business will grow. And it doesn't work that way. Really what you're doing is tracking action. So you got to be in action, and the spreadsheet is just a part of it to help you see where what you're doing is working. So here's a simple example. Get a Google Doc, like a Google spreadsheet. If you're on Word, you could get an Excel spreadsheet, and you just want to start tracking simple things. Okay. You want to track first your time. Okay. How are you spending your time in a regular work week? Okay. And this is very, very informative. It helps you go, oh, I'm spending 6 hours doing blank, and it's not very effective at getting new people into my business. And the only way you can know that is if you track. So start a time tracking spreadsheet. You could also start a lead tracking spreadsheet. So in that way you go, how many contacts have I made this week? And what percentage of those are converting? So you must have a simple tracking system for this. Of course, as your business scales, it's going to get more and more complex, but in the beginning stages, and even up until the 6-figure mark, you can have pretty simple systems, but you want to be making sure that you're tracking these things so that you understand. Okay, so let's talk about a few of the things you're going to track. So like I said, time. You're going to track your leads, how many people you're contacting a day, how many people are converting. That was the word I was looking for. You can also track how many people you're contacting through DMs. Let's say I have systems for these. If you don't have systems for these, contact me. I have some awesome social media systems that I use it's almost like a CRM for social media that helps me contact people, grow my following, connect with people, and build podcasts, build my list, do all kinds of cool stuff, because I needed a tracking system to do that. And I have one. So if you don't have one, either DM me on Instagram. My handle is @NFAmoney, or email me, dramanda@nfamoney.com, and I'll send you info. You want to be tracking how many pieces of content you're putting out. You want to be tracking your growth in terms of, let's say you have a podcast. Remember in the last episode, number 3, I talked to you about that you need to be doing 3 things every day. And one of those is to have a social media outlet and a marketing strategy. So the marketing strategy is YouTube, It's I'm getting confused myself here. Let me regroup here. YouTube, podcast, or blog. When you're just starting, you want to have one of those, and then you want to choose one social media platform to be promoting it on. How many posts a week are you doing? Start tracking that. You want to be tracking your profit and losses, and all of this can be done on a simple spreadsheet. You want to just start paying attention to these things. Also track, am I getting referrals? Where did my clients come from? Just start the practice of this and get into the habit of it. That's the most important part. Okay. So you're tracking your time, your leads, your money, posts. You can have 3 to 5 categories that you're tracking, and get in the habit of just looking at it every day and going, okay, what's my tracking spreadsheet look like? And is it getting me the results I choose? That way you'll know whether or not you're growing from your efforts. And you must start to understand, am I getting ROI, return on investment of my time, my energy, and my input? Okay. And all that means is that the amount of time and energy you're putting in and money, is it yielding a profitable result? And if it's not, then you're on track for challenges. And we don't want that, right? We want you to go, okay, I'm scaling every month. I'm feeling better and better. It's getting easier. I'm getting clearer. And that's what a tracking system does. So this is a growth check question you must ask yourself. Do I have a tracking system? And if you're answering no to that right now, create one. Okay. And just start with a simple system. Of course, if you need help from me with these types of things, you can work with me. Just go to workwithdramanda.com and we can schedule a session, start to talk about possibilities of working together and helping you with these kind of strategies. Okay. Growth check question number 2. Do I have a drop ad list for getting into my zone of manifestation? Okay. So the important thing is here is that, remember, on the business scaling roadmap, you are driven to get to your zone of manifestation because this is where all the money magic happens. Money magic. Oh yeah. And when I say money magic, what I mean by that is that leads start coming to you more easily. You start to make more money. You're doing the things you enjoy doing. You're working with the people you love to work with because you've done the things that I'm talking about today. You're tracking, you're understanding better what gets results for you, and you're refining and you're taking the time to understand those things, which leads you into your zone of manifestation. Your zone of manifestation doesn't just happen magically, without you doing anything or refining anything. Getting into your zone of manifestation is always about alignment. It's about you getting aligned. And one of those alignment pieces is you being a badass business owner. And badass business owners track. They do growth checks regularly. And so one of the things you want to do on this is a drop ad list. And this is a really simple strategy. So in your journal, what you would do is let's say on the left side, you would write drop. And on the right side, you would write add. Now on this drop side, you're going to write down everything you do in a week that you do not like doing. So you're going to write down at the top, these are the things I hate or dislike doing. And you're going to write all of them down. And then on the right side, you're going to write down all the things that you enjoy doing. This is your ad list, and write all of those down on the right side. Okay. You're probably going to notice that you have a pretty high ratio of the things that you want to drop to the things that you want to add, because especially if you're pre-6 figures, you probably are doing a lot yourself and you haven't delegated away very much yet. And so you're probably doing some stuff that you don't enjoy doing. So we want to let that go so that you can keep scaling your business, but you can't let it go until you actually are aware and recognize that those are things that you're ready to drop or delegate. Okay. So I call it a drop ad list because it's easy to say and easy to think about. So on this drop side, everything you write down that's not bringing you joy, raising your energy, next to it, I want you to write, I'm going to like a drop, automate, or delegate. So you're going to write those words right next to that item. And then you're going to start thinking, okay, when do I commit to doing these things? Because we want to start to refine so that you can scale your business. So on a growth check, you want to be paying attention to what drains my energy and what brings me energy. Okay. That's in the simplest way. What drains my energy, I need to drop, automate, or delegate. What brings me energy, I want to do more of that. And that's all the drop ad list is. It's a refinement tool and a growth check strategy to make sure that you're in alignment for scaling from a place of joy and ease, because that's going to get you to your zone of genius. Okay, so try this one out. So that growth question number 2 is, do I have a drop ad list for getting into my zone of manifestation? And if you don't have one, create it today and start this practice. I do this when I'm feeling stuck. I'll do this every week. Sometimes it's monthly, sometimes it's quarterly. It depends on if I'm in my zone of manifestation. I don't need to do a drop ad list as frequently because I'm humming, right? I'm going. When I notice myself starting to fall out of my zone of manifestation, I get really, really focused on the drop ad list. I go, okay, wait, something's off here. I'm not feeling that like high vibe feeling about my business. I'm feeling a little drained in my energy. So I go, okay, I got to do a drop ad list because something is off. Because I know what it feels like, and I know you do too, when you feel that hum of vibrant energy in your business and things are flowing and you're magnetic. That's when you are on living in the ad side where you're like, yes, 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 I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm scaling from my zone of genius and from my zone of manifestation, and I feel freaking good. The second you start to drop out of that, the quicker you can recognize it and do your drop ad list, the quicker you can get back into your zone of manifestation. And so just practice this. You know, in the beginning, when you're creating a new habit, you want to do it more frequently. So you can start doing this every week and just notice. And you'll notice patterns in it. And then that'll give you clues as to, okay, what are the next things that I'm going to drop, automate, or delegate, or on the flip side, add to love my business. This will help you scale faster because you'll be more magnetic to money. Okay, and number 3, here's growth check question number 3. What adjustments will I make to scale from joy instead of from my money blocks? What adjustments will I make to scale from joy instead of from my money blocks? What this means is, remember on that ad drop list, you are going to notice all the things that you need to commit to dropping, automating, delegating. Okay. If you're not willing to do those things, you're building your business from a place of unconscious limiting beliefs and money blocks. And what that means is that you're going to be working way too hard to make your money. Okay, so that you're stuck in zone number 2, the over deliver and undercharge zone. And that's a money block. Okay, when you're over delivering and undercharging, it means you're stuck in imposter syndrome. It means that you're thinking you need to prove yourself. It means you think that you need to have more credentials to make more money. It means that you go, oh my God, if I just offer everything to everyone, then somehow people will find me and I'll make it big. And the truth is, what you're doing here is not tracking, because I promise you, if you're trying to help everyone, you are ineffective and you're making it much harder on yourself. And that's not something that we want to be doing. So we want to go, okay, I'm going to track, who do I work with best? What's the common pattern? What do those people say that they get from me most commonly? And you'll hear consistent patterns if you pay attention. You'll hear people say, oh my God, you're so good at blank. And you want to write that down and track it and pay attention to it, because you'll hear it over and over again and you'll go, oh, here's my zone of genius. And here's how I can make adjustments to work from a place of my zone of genius, attract from my place of zone of genius. And then it gets so much easier because you're paying attention to what you're really, truly gifted at and really enjoy doing. It might seem really automatic to you. Often your zone of genius just seems like, this is just what I'm automatically good at. And you won't notice unless you track it and pay attention. So see how all these are tied together. The growth check questions 1, 2, and 3 are very tied together, and you want to be practicing all 3. Okay, so if you're scaling from a money block, what it means is that you're going to be causing a lot of resistance in your business. You're causing yourself to have to work too hard to make money. You're causing stress and headaches, all of which push money away from you. They make you feel desperate. They make you feel scared. They make you feel uncertain. They make you feel overworked, stressed out. So that's how you're going to know if you're scaling from money blocks, is because you're not going to feel awesome when you get up in the morning to build your business. When you know you're scaling from a place of joy, it's because you get up in the morning and you're like, yay, I can't wait to do my projects for the day. I can't wait to attract clients. And it flows to me easily. This is when you're in your zone of manifestation, in that zone number 4, the one that we really, 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 we all are striving for and are going to get to and stay in when you are hanging out with me on the Woman Entrepreneur podcast and in the NFA community. So what adjustments, this is again question number 3, what adjustments will I make to scale from joy instead of from my money blocks? And so all of the things that I teach you are about you getting conscious about where you're stuck. Okay, that's ultimately when I think about people who are the most successful and prosperous and like, you know, those people that you see that like glow and they just are, they're happy and you can feel it when you talk to them, and happy in that sense of like deep fulfillment. They're grounded, they're present, they're able to share with you. They shine a light in the world, right? It's how I often feel in my business most of the time. And when I'm not, I do exactly the things that I'm telling you to get back into that place because I choose to be in my zone of manifestation. It just feels good. And so I want you to be there so that you can be attracting magnetic money your way and feeling inspired and alive and awake. Okay? Because that's possible for everybody. I don't want you to create a prison out of your business. There is no point in being an entrepreneur and being stressed to hell and feeling scared. We don't want that. So let's get into your zone of genius. So your action step for today is to schedule time on your calendar for a growth check and track your ROI on output and make adjustments accordingly to scale to the next level. I'm going to say that again because that is a lot. Okay, so these are really your action steps. First, schedule time on your calendar for doing a growth check. This could be weekly. That's what I recommend, especially if you're not in the practice of this yet and you don't have it. You know, if a lot of what I said today, you're like, shit, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. You definitely want to be scheduling this once a week. So just on your calendar, put growth check, block it out like it's an appointment. Do not miss it. And then in that time that you have on your calendar for the growth check, you're going to track your ROI on output. What that means is, like I said, you're going to be tracking how have I been spending my time, my energy, and my money, and is it effective? Is it working? So do your drop ad list in this time that you schedule on your calendar to see if your ROI is what you expect it to be. And wherever it's not, just make adjustments accordingly, meaning drop, automate, delegate. Drop, automate, delegate, and add the things that feel really good. All right. I love being here with you so much. This to me is like so my jam. I could do this all day long. So thank you for listening. And remember, if you would like to do a biz breakdown session with me, go to thewomanontrepreneurpodcast.com, thewomanontrepreneurpodcast.com. At the top of the page, you'll see a button that says Get Your Biz Breakdown Session. And they're actually filling up really fast. I'm already about 4 or 5 weeks out. So if you want one, hop on there. Don't miss out. And I love to hear from you. So if you want to connect with me, I hang out the most on Instagram. So just take a screenshot of this episode, wherever you're listening to it, podcast style. Take a screenshot, share it, tag me on Instagram, and I'll connect with you. I love, love, love hanging out with you and hearing from you. So I'd love to know how this session today impacted you. What are you going to do in terms of your growth check? Share with me. And until next time, NFA money making high five.